Hi, happy Friday. So I'm here again today with another live Q&A with 6 tips for how to make your home bigger and brighter for free. So I really welcome any questions that you might have. If you're watching on the replay, post them below anyway, because I will come back and respond to them. If you're watching live, then please make any comments you want to make, and I will do my best to respond with sensible answers. So I get a lot of clients come to me. My clients are largely homeowners, and they come to me with all sorts of different challenges that they're facing with their homes. And certainly many of the more successful clients that I have who have had a good long life may well have generated quite a lot of belongings in their home. And I've had many clients who really struggle to use some of the rooms in their home because they're just full of stuff, whether that's boxes of stuff, piles of paperwork, or whether that's just lots of pieces of furniture that they maybe are not really that comfortable, or maybe they're a bit broken or whatever. But this is a common problem for a lot of people, and I'm not talking about hoarders. I'm talking about normal people who just have a lot of stuff. And a lot of people come to me and they say, we really need more space, or we really want our space to feel brighter. And these are two things that a lot of people come to me with. And so these are some tips that can help you to do this for free with your home. So you might be wondering who I am if you've not met me before. I'm Jane. I'm a chartered architect, and I am the founding director of iArchitect. And I specialise in working with homeowners of period property and applying eco-design principles to make those homes really beautiful, characterful homes that suit a modern lifestyle. So, and I would also say I'm a bit of a weird architect because I don't believe that building bigger is better. I believe that building the right size in the right way, really good quality space that actually gives you the type of space that you really need, is a much better approach. It delivers what you need, it's flexible for your foreseeable future, but rather than just being big for the sake of being big and throwing lots of money at just extra space that may or may not be actually all that usable for you, I think it's much better to be really clever about the space that you create so that it really does deliver what you want and need, so you have a home that you love that actually supports the lifestyle that you want to have. So I've got in today, I want to give you a few kind of quotes from a few famous architects and designers because they're quite interesting in what they've said. So the first one is a quote by Mies van der Rohe, who was a really famous German architect. He designed the Barcelona Pavilion for their exhibition or expo back in, I think it was the 1920s, maybe the 1930s. And it's a stunning building. It's marble, glass, steel, and it's lovely. And his design style was very refined. Hi there, Vlad. And his quote was, "Less is more." And I would tend to agree with him, but not in terms of style. I would agree with him in terms of space and the amount of stuff that you have in that space. That's what's going to give you a much better quality living environment. And there was another famous architect back in the 1980s, Venturi, who he disagreed with Mies van der Rohe, and his quote is, "Less is a bore." So we went from less is more to less is a bore. But what they were both talking about really was aesthetics and how space looks, not about the amount of space or the quality of the space. Certainly aesthetics comes into quality, you could argue that point, but it was much more about how the space looks was what they were talking about, and the detailing of it. So Mies van der Rohe was talking about having very minimal, he was really reacting against the Art Deco and the Art Nouveau, where they're really floral styles, lots of animals and nature in their buildings, and he was kind of reacting against that and looking at things being a bit more of an industrial aesthetic without all these fancy fluffy bits. And Venturi was a postmodernist architect, and he was really interested in the sort of ancient Greek styles where they had, you know, the capitals and their columns and so on. And he was really interested in appropriating that kind of architectural style into his postmodern 1980s architecture, where he used like broken pediments and broken architraves and all sorts of bits of single columns and things like that, but reflecting some of the classical architectural styles within a modern context. So I don't think you need to sacrifice your style, and you can certainly build big if that is what's essential to you. But I think what's more important than building big is to build smarter. So one client of mine recently, and I'm still working on this project, we've got planning permission for it and we will be going out to tender very soon. We went through, and very early on, we went through a value engineering exercise, and a value engineering exercise is where you basically check how much it's going to cost to build what you've designed, and then if it costs too much, then you can reduce it. Yeah, I think it is just you who's watching right now, Vlad. Lost my train of thought. So your what was I going to say? Yeah, so with this client, we looked at how much it was going to cost. They wanted to have a bigger family bathroom, and they also wanted to have an ensuite for their master bedroom. And so those two things, we looked at having a second story extension over the first floor extension that we were already doing. And what it boiled down to was that what was in their budget was not enough to extend at first floor. So instead of extending at first floor, we reconfigured the space internally at first floor. They're going to have a lovely family bathroom. They're going to have a really good, big, huge shower in an ensuite to their master bedroom, but they're not needing to extend at all. We've just reconfigured the space, used it in a much cleverer way, and it's going to cost them a whole lot less than it would have done if we had to extend. And so the benefits are that firstly, it's going to cost you less, but more importantly, in my opinion, is it's also going to be better for the environment. It's more sustainable. We don't need to do a lot of building work. We just need to build really cleverly so that we get what we need in space, but we don't waste the resources that we've got in the earth, because the planet's resources are limited, and certainly certain resources that are not renewable, like plastics, text me. We don't want to be using those sort of petrochemical type plastic based products. So what can you do for free to improve your home and make it feel bigger and brighter, and do all this for no money whatsoever? So I've got 6 ideas for you here that you can do to make your home feel that bigger and brighter space and actually suit you better and give you the space that you need. So first of all, the most simple thing to do is clear your surfaces, and especially clear your windowsill. Take all the stuff off your windowsill and have nice clear tabletops and floors, and that way it's gonna feel like you've got more space. You'll get your light coming in will bounce off the windowsill and be much brighter coming into your room. And to go a step further, you can change the window treatment that you've got. If you've got curtains and blinds and lots of extra things going on covering up your window, then if you reduce that, remove some of it, maybe all of it, and you'll get a lot more light. You'll improve the views out, and that view out is going to make it feel like your space is more extensive, because the space that's outside will start to feel like it's part of your internal space as well. So your home will feel bigger and brighter just by changing what you do around the windows. If you've got really deep windows, you can also add strips of mirror to the sides of your windows, and that'll again reflect more light in. You'll see more views. It'll have a similar effect to like a bay window depending on the depth of your frame, and it will also so bounce more light in and increase your views going out. So again, that will have increase and enhance the effect of your window and the benefit you're getting of the light coming in from your window and your views out. Okay, third tip, rearrange your room. Move the furniture around, put it in different positions in the same room, or even just change completely the use of your rooms to suit you better. You know, just because that was a dining room when you moved in doesn't mean that you have to keep it as a dining room. If that doesn't suit you, change it. You don't have to have it as a dining room. It could be a home office, it could be a playroom, it could be a spare bedroom, it could be anything that you want and whatever you need. So think really through what it is that you need in your home, and what spaces have you got right now. Are there any spaces you don't actually use and the use of them is kind of not important to you? Then can you make something that you need, a use that you need, into one of those spaces? For example, maybe you love painting. Maybe what you really need is somewhere that you can put up a painter's easel and paint huge canvases, but you don't need a dining table. Maybe you don't even need a sofa, or I don't know, whatever it is that you don't need, get rid of it. You don't need it, get rid of it. Clear your space and put in only what you do need, and you'll find that your home will reflect your lifestyle better, and it'll help you to live the life that you want to live. Going a bit further along those sort of lines of looking at the furniture that you've got, just get rid of some of the furniture. Furniture takes up a lot of space, and if you want to get rid of like the really uncomfortable chair that nobody wants to sit in, because what's the point of having a chair that nobody wants to sit in? Or get rid of that chest of drawers, which is the place where, if somebody's coming around, you just throw everything away into the chest of drawers to hide it, because you don't want to really deal with it. It's not stuff that you necessarily want to keep or to have. You just want to put it away outside and not have to worry about it. But actually it's still there, it's still there, and it's in that drawer, and you just need to sort it out. So get rid of the chest of drawers that you don't need and clear it out, and then force yourself to deal with those bits of paperwork. Just deal with it, get rid of it, and don't stuff it away in a drawer where it's not going to be looked at for 6 months and it'll be irrelevant by the time you come to get at it anyway. So just get rid of the chest of drawers and get rid of the stuff that's in it. And then the sort of fifth tip, as an extension, that is just generally get rid of all the clutter, all the stuff that you don't need. Most of us have far more stuff than we really need, and it takes up your space. It restricts you in what you can do. Can be really frustrating. It prevents you from living your best life. So one of the things that I've been doing now for a few weeks, and I must say it's too early for it to have really made much of a difference, but I've been trying to take out 5 items from every single room, just to either give away, to donate, or just to bin or recycle, so that just clearing them out, getting them out of the house. And although it's still too early to have had a really big impact, it has certainly made some improvements. It's easier to clean and tidy because there are just that little bit less stuff lying around. And that, for me, is like a really doable thing. 5 items per room, per week. But you could do it more quickly than that. You could do it in different ways. If you go and search Google, and you'll find a million different ways that you can go about sort of a minimalist approach to your clutter. just type in the minimalist and you'll find lots of stuff. But it's one of the final quote I've got for you, which is related to this, and this is from William Morris, who was talking about this like way back, sort of, I think it was like the 1880s, 1890s, I think. I might be wrong, might be a bit later than that, but it was that sort of time. So, you know, we're looking at over 100 years ago that he said this, and it's still relevant today. And what he said was, have nothing in your home that you do not know to be useful or believe to be beautiful. Obviously, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and not everybody's going to find the same thing beautiful, but you can know whether something is useful or not. And it's up to you. If you love it and it's beautiful, doesn't matter what everybody else says. If nobody else thinks it's beautiful, that's fine. But if you think it's beautiful, keep it. I would try and go one further and make sure that everything that you have that's useful is also beautiful, because, you know, we all benefit from, having beautiful things around us makes everybody feel good. So that is a sort of an extension to that if you want, but it's much more difficult to make all your useful things beautiful as well. And then my final tip for you today is to repaint your space using lighter and brighter colours. So one thing that you could do is take inspiration from your view. So when you're thinking about what colour to use to repaint your space, yeah, you can use lighter colours and brighter colours, but you can also, you don't have to use white or even shades of white, although I must admit that's kind of what I tend to do in my home, because it's bright and it's fresh. But if you want to use some colour, go ahead, use some colour, but use the colours that you can see out of your window. So for example, my garden, I've got a lovely big green garden, and for my living room, which looks out onto the garden, I have not done the decorating yet, but I've got lots of green paint, I've got green tiles around the fireplace, and I've got a green patterned wallpaper. I know that sounds like a lot of green, it's not that extreme, but my thought is to bring that sense of that greenery that I can see outside, bring that inside, and then my living room will feel like it's part of the garden, and it will feel bigger as a result, because it's an extension. The garden outside is an extension, exactly, 50 Shades of White. So yeah, take inspiration from your view. If what you're looking out on is more industrial, maybe then you might be looking at some greys or some reds, but really take note of what colours you can see from your window. And you don't have to paint the entire room red, but you could just have a few accent items that pick up on that colour that you can see, and you can just reflect what's going on outside your window with your space inside, and sort of have that connection between the two. So those are all my tips for you today for how to make your home bigger and brighter for free. I know it's not going to actually be physically bigger, but it should feel bigger. And if you get rid of a lot of stuff inside and you get rid of some big pieces of furniture, you'll definitely have a lot more space. And if you rearrange the furniture so that you're using the space that you've got in a way that really suits you, then you may no longer feel the need to have more space built for you, and you can just make the space that you've got work better for you. I certainly think that's a much better approach to improving your home to start with. And if you want to extend your home, maybe you've done this work already and your home is fully used and it's exactly what you need from the space that you've got, but in addition you actually need more space than what you have to be able to really function well as a couple, as a family, then by all means get hold of a copy of my Design Your Home Vision checklist, which you can download for free, and it will help you work through some of the ideas to get yourself in a position to be able to move forward with a project to potentially extend or further reconfigure your home. I hope that's been useful. Sorry, I've just bashed the tripod. And I will speak to you all next Friday. Bye for now.